Hello everyone. So in this video series, I'm going to go over how you set up a Scholastic Bowl Discord server using my template so that you can get started right away. I'll go over the basics of how you navigate that server and make any sort of edits to it to reflect your team. To begin, you're going to want to download Discord, and the website is just discord.com. And at any point, you can pause this video if I'm moving too quickly, but this should be the first link if you Google it. You always have the option to open Discord in a browser. So if you're in a pinch or for some reason you can't download the app, you can always open it in the browser. But I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think the sound quality might be worse and it's just less reliable in general. So if you can, make sure you download it. And if you're on a Mac, I have special instructions in this presentation link below for what you would need to do. But it's not much different. So once you've downloaded it and you've installed it like any other computer software, the first time you run it, it's going to ask you to log in. So make sure you create an account and log in. When you first log in, you're not going to have any servers. You'll have this little exclamation point here to ask you to add a server. But I'm going to show you how to copy my server template over so you don't have to create anything. It'll be nice and fast. So in this presentation, you'll see on the third slide a link down here that you can follow. And so you can either pause this and follow the link and type it in, or if you click on it, it should show this window. It's opening in the Discord app. And now when you go to your Discord, you should have this create a server, setup server screen. Here you want to put your name, school name. So on my server name is going to be Test School. And then this just shows the different channels that it's going to create for us, and then the permissions. So hit create. So now on the top left, you'll see that your server is created. So you could click on that. It's got all these different categories, and these categories have different chat rooms in them. And so what you can do is you can move these categories around by clicking and dragging. And so I'm actually going to move this to the top. But you'll notice that some of these rooms and categories are named Main East, which is our school, and you're going to want to change that. So the way you change that is there's a little gear you can hover near over and click Edit Channel. So it says Main East Chat. Hover over that, click the gear, and then you have the choice to change the channel name to be whatever you want. There's a few of those, so make sure you change them all. The next thing you're going to want to do is change this Main East student category. Categories are a little different. They require you to right click on them and hit edit category. And so you would want to call this test school students. Then up here in the top left, if you click on your server name, it should have a server settings. What we need to do is actually change the roles. So the way roles work in Discord is it actually allows you to assign roles to give different permissions to have access to different rooms. And so if I main student, I want to probably call that test school students. Sure to hit save in the bottom here. And that should be the only one you have to change because guest, coach, and admin are pretty universal. So once you've got that customized to fit your school, you'll notice in the right there is it shows a list of people who are on your server. So we only have one person right now, and we want to invite people. So in the top left, you would click on your server name, and then it says invite people. So this is the link that you can share so people can join your room or your server. And if you never want that link to expire, then you would click this checkbox here so that this link can be used a week or 2 or 3 or a year from now. So once you've shared your link with people, it'll populate on the right. And let me show you what that looks like from my server. So I'm logged into my server. And if I click on the Honor Pledge room here in the lobby, it'll actually populate everybody who has access to this server. And the Honor Pledge is the default place that everybody goes to when they first join or click your invite link. And the idea is that I posted an honor pledge here, and I want my students or any guest members who first join the server to type out their name before I assign them a role and give them access to any of the other rooms. So everybody has access to honor pledge at first. If they first join your server, they're going to be grayed out, meaning they don't have a color like blue or green. They don't have a role. So Mr. UU down here, he doesn't have a role, and I can see that because when I click on his name, it says no roles. So once Mr. UU has typed in his name in the honor pledge, what I do is I then go and assign him a role. In this case, I want him to be, let's say, a guest. So he comes up in red, which is different than a main student, which is going to come up in blue. The reason that there's roles is because when you're playing games, And so if you look on the left here, let's say we go to the varsity game room category. There is a mainies chat, a guest chat, and a varsity game chat. So the idea is that every role has access to this room, the varsity game chat room. And it shows you that on the right here. So it shows you who has access to it. And guests have access to it and students. If I click on guest chat, only guests have access to this. So no longer are those blue student names coming up. Green is admin. Admin has access to everything. And so they'll come up too. Also, coaches are for guest coaches, and guest coaches have access to this room as well. If I click on main East chat, I see that all the main East students have access to this, but no guests do. So the way this works is if my main East students want to chat each other during bonuses or during any point in the game that is appropriate, they can do that without the guests being able to spy on them. And the same applies to the guest chat. If they wanted to type to each other during bonuses or whenever, they can do that without fear of a main East student having access to it. But everybody has access to the main chat room, which is where maybe, depending on how you're playing, you might want to type buzz to let the reader know that you're buzzing in. There's also other rooms here. So in the category for many students, only students of the that have that role have access to any of these rooms. Same with my topics. So for topics, only students have access to these special resources that I post in here. And so at our school, we have packets that we use to prepare in the different categories. So this is where I would post them. And then for certain websites that I think are good for studying, I'll post links to those as well. And then we usually create slideshows in our practice sessions. And so those slideshows are in a folder that I have here. That's why I have this category. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. If you don't want the notes, what you can do is you can just right click on that category and you can hit delete. And once you hit delete, it'll disappear. Keep in mind, if you ever want to recreate the template, you can go back to that link you clicked on the beginning to create the template and start over if you wanted to. So that's the main idea of how uh, the permissions work. And let me show you how this looks like from the guest point of view if they have the guest role. So I'm logged in as a guest here. And you'll notice that on the left, I have access to way less rooms. And so I only have access to that guest chat and the varsity game chat, or in JV, I have access to guest chat or the JV game chat. Right? And the idea is that I can't see the topics, I can't see the main student chat, I can see general chat, and I can still see honor pledge. So you have just less permissions. So next video, I'm going to show you an example of how you would play the game as it is played during our practices.